We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to join us today. My name is Julianne Poff, I'm Inside Sales Manager here at Qualtrax. Today we'll be presenting a brief overview of Qualtrax and how we can benefit our customers under various quality and regulatory compliance accreditations. And then I'll be turning over to Clint Thomason, who will demonstrate his Qualtrax system and how he manages the compliance within the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. A couple moments of housekeeping items. One, we will be recording today's presentation, and we'll be sending that to all of the attendees following the presentation today, and it will also be posted on our website as well. During the presentation, your lines will be muted, but please feel free to submit questions through the chat box located on your GoToMeeting, and we will also open it up the phone lines at the end for questions and answers. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so Qualtrax, who are we? Qualtrax has been around since the early 80s. We were founded by our parent company, FoxGuard Solutions, out of a requirement for us to become ISO accredited as well. Qualtrax was founded out of that need in 1993 and has been serving different organizations in compliance-regulated industries for over 20 years. We ourselves are ISO certified, so not only do we develop the product, but we also use the product to manage our own ISO 9001 accreditation as well. We're located in Christiansburg, Virginia. Our total company is over 120 employees, but then we do have over 20 employees in Qualtrax as well. Our mission, as we're developing the software, is to not only help the frequent users of Qualtrax, but to help the infrequent users of Qualtrax to help build an entire culture of quality within an organization. We know that oftentimes it's left up to just a few people within the organization, and by developing a tool that's very easy to use, will help build and inspire that culture of quality and streamline your operations throughout the entire organization. Many of our customers are obviously doing very critical contributions to the society with the items that they're doing in their businesses. We enjoy and we love building great software and services, and together we can partner to help you build and partner beyond compliance in your organization. To let you know a little bit about the people that you'll be dealing with as you partner with Qualtrax, these are our core values that we take and hold very true to our hearts, both personally and professionally, throughout our entire organization. Following is a list of some of our customers on both the local, state, and federal level that we're serving in the forensic industries across the United States and throughout different continents as well. Some of these are very small, with a 3-person crime lab in Western Maryland, to several state organizations which have several laboratories throughout their state system. And we're able to help them as they're going through their compliance pressures. So why choose Qualtrax? We had our auditor, UL, present at our 2010 user conference on where they typically saw findings that occurred during audits. Those centered around lack of control of documents, people saving or using wrong versions of documents, not being able to show that audit trail of a document as it's going through its process, not performing internal audits, or if they were performing internal audits, they were not documenting that activity, not documenting any other types of continuous improvement. So again, either through corrective actions, preventive actions, complaints, and things to show that you're continually growing and improving as an organization. And then lastly, lack of records for competency, awareness, and training, and not being able to show that those individuals have been trained for those positions. That's where Qualtrax can help. With our 3 core components of document management, process management, and training management, all of those items are easily accessible in one system. Everyone knows when they need to go to look for something, they'll go to Qualtrax to find it. With the document management piece, again, it's keeping track of your audit history. It's got the date and time stamp of as it's moving through every revision of the process. And it can also be associated with the standards that you're adhering to be able to perform a gap analysis to ensure that you have everything that follows your scope of accreditation. With process management, all of your processes can be mapped into a flow chart and then put into an electronic workflow within the system. Those processes are then automatically routed from person to person and are sent through email alerts and actions, and every step of the process is then tracked. And as we'll talk about in just a moment, you're then able to search and report on all of that information. Training management gives you the ability to be able to test employees on their specific procedures and processes that are relevant to their job position, as well as training tasks that can be used either one-time event or as the certifications need to be repeated or reoccurring after every year, every 2 years. In addition, you can also add completion and effectiveness sign-off. So again, depending upon the level of complexity of the tasks that they are asked to be doing, those can be combined together to either just provide a simple test or have a training task combined with a completion and effectiveness sign-off as well. And then with everything being put together into one system, you're able to search and report on all of that information. We had one lab manager tell us that it used to take them about 40 hours to complete all of their reports for management review. After 1 full year of Qualtrax, they are now able to complete those reports within 4 hours. So it's a great time saving for your organization to be able to have everything in that one system and be able to report on that very easily so you can focus your time on more important items for the organization. So how are we unique? We're not just a software company. We're here to be your partner in compliance. We'd like to really partner with, again, those individuals to make sure that we are supplying a product that will help make your lives easier and be able to support that quality and compliance initiative within the entire organization. Not only that, we have an outstanding service team. So once you would purchase Qualtrax, you're assigned a services team member who will help you with your installation and implementation. We have 2 ways for the implementation of the product. One is a cloud solution or an on-premise solution based on your requirements. We help with that system configuration. Technical support is provided here out of Christiansburg. We share best practices from over our hundreds of installations and forensic laboratories to be able to show you ways that other organizations have done it to be able to make sure that your implementation is successful and as quick as possible. So the day-old question is always, what's in it for me? So Qualtrax will help you improve efficiency, the visibility of those processes, making sure that they're consistent and you're productive as possible, reducing the variation, waste, and inefficiencies that can occur within an organization, and improving that employee motivation and participation, again, to establish that whole culture of quality. In addition, this past year, we have also partnered with the ASCLD Lab, the American Society of Crime Lab Directors. So not only are they using Qualtrax to manage their own ISO accreditation, we're also in the process of building a web portal. So those companies or those organizations that are ASCLD Lab accredited will have the ability to submit their conformance files and other items as their audit process is continuing through this web portal. So it's going to be a very good time savings for those ASCLD Lab accredited laboratories to be able to send that. Even if you're not ASCLD Lab accredited, a lot of the features and benefits that are coming as a result of that will also benefit you as well. And this is our team, and we're here to help you to be confident in your compliance and help you with those initiatives to be able to, again, help you be confident in your compliance. At this time, I'm going to be turning the presentation over to Clint Thomason. Tell you a little bit about Clint. Clint was a latent print examiner for the Pueblo, Colorado Police Department for 5 years until he joined the Colorado Bureau of Investigation in 2007 as a latent print examiner. Clint became the lab director for the CBI Grand Junction Forensic Laboratory in 2011. In early 2012, Clint took over as CBI System Quality Manager. and he has been in that role ever since. Clint is not only the Qualtrax administrator, but he's also their LIMS administrator as well. So without further ado, I'll turn this over to Clint, and he'll be able to demonstrate how he uses Qualtrax to be confident in his compliance for the Colorado Bureau of Investigation.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Qualtrax asked me to run through a couple parts that we've used Qualtrax in our system. We went live with Qualtrax in January of this year. Excuse me. And so far it's been extremely helpful for us. I'm a firm believer that a quality system is only as good as it is easy to use, and Qualtrax has allowed us to change a lot of our processes to make them much easier. I'm going to try to go through just probably three main points of Qualtrax, and not actually how to set it up per se, but just kind of show you some of the stuff that we've done to make our lives a little bit easier. I'm going to start with the big one, which is document control. We initially bought Qualtrax just for the document control part of it, and it's been extremely helpful. We have 5 laboratories spread out across the state, and we were looking for a solution to allow all our scientists to be able to access their documents in one place, and that one place is Qualtrax. And since Qualtrax runs in a web browser, it's really simple. There's nothing to install, nothing for our IT guys to do on the individual PCs. They just go to a shortcut and click the button, and they'll end up at this screen. And this screen that you see here is basically the meat of Qualtrax for most of our staff. It only comes with the 2 buttons at the top, and that's the documents and the personnel button. Everything that we do that they need for their work, you know, all the manuals, the trainings, the validations, performance checks, all that stuff we can access from this one screen without even having to log on. And one of the neat features of Qualtrax is all of this is completely controllable for which particular folders they see without logging on, and I'll show you the difference once I log on, how you can control those permissions. But right now we have 5, like I said, 5 laboratories. However, we use one system, so all the laboratories would log on to this, and each one of our disciplines have their own specific folders, and in these folders is basically their operating procedures. And I'm sure there's probably some people on this line that remember having one operating procedure per discipline, and it'd be a giant paper book, and it would be spread out across each of the laboratories. And this has really removed having that one book and putting it down into a simple folder structure. This was easy to teach because everybody understands a folder structure. You know, Windows Explorer. I mean, we've been using it for years and years, so this is really easy for me to teach our staff how to use it. An example would be a staff member would just come in here if they needed to look something up in their specific discipline, like latents. You would open it up, and each one of these documents is controlled, and you could find out exactly the one you need, and you would just click it, and it opens up into a readable PDF with all the good ISO stuff that we have to have, and this is all just done automatically. It's really, really nice. And then if you need more information on the document to show an auditor or just yourself, so you can see what's going on with the document, you can just go to the properties of the document, and it'll give you everything, the status, when it was published, the date it expires, who the document manager is, who's the last editor. And then it gives you all the dates and times, you know, when it was started to in edit, when it was released, and the date was published. Gives you the entire approvals, and then you have an area for the changes to be made, so anybody can see that's using this document what changes were made from the revision before. The good thing is, even if after a revision happens, you can see this is revision 2 for this document, but no matter what they push, they're always going to get the correct revision, even so that it's impossible for somebody to accidentally get a different revision, which is really handy. You know, the paper ones you used to have to hunt them down and make sure all the logbooks were changed when a new revision came out. And I'm going to explain how really helpful that's been. So our document tree is very, very basic. We just have our manuals set up, and we have the operations manuals for each of the disciplines, and we have, of course, you know, your overall manuals, such as your safety manual and your quality manual, in its own separate folder. It makes it really simple for us to find exactly what we want to use, and even if they go back to just the regular login screen, they could always just use the search button here, which is really handy. We can find that exact same one I was just looking at by using the search feature, and then you can just go straight to, they know that's Fin, and that's the exact same document we're looking at, but they don't have to go all the way through the tree if they know what they're looking for. So that's very useful for us too. I'm going to log in real quick. When you log in, you come to this inbox screen. As a quality manager, my inbox is pretty busy because I have a lot of things going on, but it gives me an overview of everything that's going on that's in my wheelhouse, so to say. I have over here the documents and edits, so I know I have 31 documents that I am currently editing, and then I have 9 documents that I have to approve. Over here I also have trainings that are assigned to me, and any kind of tests that are assigned to me, and I'll show you a couple of those just to give you an idea of how that works. But I want to go back to this document tree. Now that I've signed in and it knows it's me, you can see now I have more folders that are visible. And what we found out is once we use this for document control, we started using it for all our records also. So in our quality assurance folder, let's say we have all our audits, our technical leaders will have their own folders for all the different things. We have the proficiency testing stuff in here. We end up using it a lot for our records because it's really, really easy to use, and it's great to say, like she said in the PowerPoint, we just know where it's at every time, so we just always know to go to Qualtrax. Qualtrax also has the ability to download an entire folder. So if I needed this entire folder downloaded to give to an auditor, it's a simple 3-click thing, and it will actually download every single one of these documents, keeping the folder hierarchy into a zip file, and then you can just hand that zip file to an auditor, or you know, even a defense attorney, or you know, in discovery process, and just hand it straight to them. It works really, really, really quickly, instead of having to hunt down and make copies and all that good stuff we used to do. I'm going to go back to my inbox here real quick and show you the thing that's really, really helped us. You know, back in the paper book days when our working groups would get together and they would decide they need to change a specific procedure or a policy, it would go through this gigantic long steps, and then somebody would have to have the original Word document, and then we'd have to remember where we put that, and then we would edit it, and then it would go through some approvals and then signatures, and then we would actually publish it, and then we'd have to send it out to the rest of the laboratories, which is always a time-consuming event. The way we've set it up now is each one of the technical leaders has editability for all their procedure manuals, and so it's as simple as opening one of the documents that they want to edit, and then just pushing the check out button, and Qualtrax will just automatically download the file to your computer and open it up into Word like you see here, and then you just edit it in a regular Word document. Then you'd hit save, you close, and then it's as simple as checking in the document again, and it'll automatically go to where it's saved and upload the document. Once it's uploaded, you'll see it go into draft mode. It'll have a big draft in there so everyone knows that it's a draft, so there's no confusion on what version it is. Let that pop up here in a second. As you can see, the draft is right on there, and then you would set up ahead of time all your approvals, and so then the technical leader just clicks the release for approval button, and then whoever's next in the approval chain will get an email letting them know there's a document to approve, and then that shows up in their inbox. Just like this here, the documents to approve, it would just show up right in there, which is pretty handy. Then the approver just simply goes through, clicks the document, they open it in that draft version that you just saw, they would review it, and then they have an approve button. You just press approve, and then Qualtrax will automatically generate the PDF version with the new revision numbers, and then put it in those property screens of all the approvals. It just happens that quickly. And then at the same time, you have a notification set up for that document. As soon as it's published, everyone is notified. We also attach a what Qualtrax calls a test that automatically goes out to the affected users, and then the users have to go in and read the document, and then they complete the test, and that shows that they've read that. All that happens literally with those 3 button pushes, and once you set it up, it's all behind the scenes, and it's all done, and it works pretty good. Let's see, the next thing I wanted to show you guys was the workflows. We use workflows mostly for the ISO things that says you have to, anything that ISO says that you have to document or get approval for and document an approval. The workflows we have found out works really, really well. Me being the quality manager, I have to approve a lot of things, and I'm here in our Denver facility, and we have technical leaders in each one of our regional laboratories, along with the lab directors for each one. This makes it as they do it, they can do one of these workflows and never even have to see me to approve or sign or get any kind of documentation. The workflows are as simple as this workflow button here. These are the workflows that we have currently. Deviation requests, I'm sure a lot of you ISO folks will notice these. Literature review, we do the purchase request, which I'll take you through one of our purchase request ones. Our quality incident review is the CBI's version of a corrective action report and a preventive action report. We also have a reanalysis policy, so this documents all our reanalysis that we do, also our testimony evaluation, and then any kind of validation study proposals that they need pre-approval for. They just click this, they fill it out, and when they hit the button, everything behind the scenes is already set up so it knows exactly which person to send it to, and that person will then get an email, and then it'll show up in the inbox here like this purchase request. If you open one of these workflows, the good part right here at the very top of the workflow, it's going to tell you all the information you need, who initiated it, who sent it for approval. You know, these are built-in states, so each one of these states will have a flow to it. So it went to this person for approval. This person sent it back because they needed to add something. They resubmitted it for approval. Then this was approved and submitted. I mean, it's just all right there. I can tell you exactly what happened with this entire workflow just by looking at that top. I don't even have to look at the workflow itself. But we use this workflow as part of the ISO thing to get a pre-approval for any critical supplies or consumables. And they just, when they want to order something, they just start it. They fill out the part they need to fill out, and then they send out for approval. And then I'll show you how we run a report off of this one so we can see everything that's been purchased or ordered and approved. But this is one big giant version, and remember each one of these is a state, so when the person that it gets sent to will only see the part they need to worry about. So when the beginning person will only see what they want to order, and then they send it to the person for approval. Then the approval person will see just the part that they need to. That works that way in all these workflows. And again, you got to just set these up. And this used to all be paper for us, and we had everything attached to it. This one, all these workflows allow you to attach any kind of documents, and it just keeps it in the database, and you can come to them at any time that you want to. So that's just one sample of a workflow that we have. I wanted to, this particular workflow, I wanted to show a lot of questions people have asked me before, is what happens when all this stuff is going on and everybody's assigned this, and then that person leaves. And this is a good example because this person actually had left our laboratory in the middle of this purchase request, and Qualtrax has a neat feature to allow you to disable a particular user, and then you just assign that person's task to another person. Makes it handy to get it, and I just happen to be the person that it got assigned to, so that's why it's in my particular one. Quality manager gets all kinds of good stuff, right? So then I'm going to show you reports. Reporting is probably one of the strongest features. She mentioned getting ready for a management review now takes somebody 4 hours, and I can actually do a lot of reports now that I do on a monthly basis that I never used to during our management meetings, and then we can actually have mini management review almost every month now because these reports are easily printable, and we print them out, we can export them, and I'll show you a couple real quick. So when you go to the report tab, you can create a new report, and we won't do that here because I'll show you a bunch of ones that we've already created, but you can create a report that gives you basically almost all the information or as little as information as you want, and you can create multiple reports on the same workflow, which is depending on how you want it sorted or how your boss wants to see it, you can do each one of those. But Qualtrax comes with this system reports here. One of the most amazing parts of this whole thing, and anybody that has to do a master document list can understand, I do not actually have to keep track of a master document list at all. I don't have that giant Excel spreadsheet that we used to have to do. I literally just run this report here, and then I pick, I want the controlled, I want to be able to see when it was last published, and I want to see the revisions, and then I'll run the report, and then it will actually give me every document we have with the information I wanted to, what revision it is, what's the title of it, when it was last published, and as controlled, whether it's controlled or not. And there's the whole master document list in one shot. Then I just can export this right here to an Excel spreadsheet, and then I just hand that to an auditor, and it's all done that quickly. It's really, really handy, and it keeps track of it as it changes. So I don't keep track of a master document list at all any longer. Some of the specialized reports on your workflows. Each workflow you can run a report on. These are some of the reports that I specifically created, and if you notice that purchase request report here is from that workflow I just showed. I have two of them, and this is an overall purchase request one, and then I made a separate one that I could do purchase request by lab if we wanted to run it by lab. And then you just click the report, and I've already created the report, so it instantly gives me all the information I need right here. And this one's just one that I looked for per lab, and then if I wanted to run the full one, I could run the full one. And these work just like Excel, so you can just click on a header, and it'll sort by that header, and I could easily see how many times we've purchased something from, like, say, Arrowhead Forensics. This is really nice when I do our yearly review on our critical vendors. I can run this report real quickly, find the vendors, and in this will give me any of the information that we have if they've had any kind of issues or if we're going to continue to use those vendors. And then, so when I do my vendor list, I can sign it off for another year. It says that they're good for another year. That works really, really good. If you notice, I have some reports for our active corrective actions, some completed ones, the active preventive actions. When I run this particular one, I can run each one of these for our monthly meetings, and anything that's completed or ongoing, we will have a discussion. And it's simple, again, it's as simple as me pushing that button, then I export it to Excel, and then I can print it out for our documentation of our meetings. I'm going to go ahead and open this particular one here to just give you a brief idea of how this one's set up. So if a person wants to start, if we have we call it the quality incident review, so if there's any kind of quality incident, we would create this workflow, and it starts from everybody has access to this. So we get these from everything from building issues to instrument issues to casework issues. And it follows your basic pattern that everybody does. We had a server go down on us this particular one. So we did this incident review, and we decided to make it a corrective action because we had to fix the problem. And then it gives you the steps, and then it goes right into, I click a button, and it goes right into the corrective action report, and then we do the root cause, and then we list our corrective actions, then we monitor the corrective actions. Same thing. If I click a button, it'll go into the preventive action, depending on if it's going to be a preventive or a corrective. Then this is all documented in the exact same format as you have here. You can make these little notes here so people know exactly what to do in each of these boxes, and then we can attach all the supporting documentation, and then it's done pretty much after that. Then we can monitor it and complete it. And while it's in a monitoring phase, it's always in your inbox, so I can always see that it's in progress. And it also reminds us to make sure we do the monitoring itself. There's lots of different ways to do corrective actions or any kind of workflows. It's just how your system works is how you can set it up. It's really easy to set up. So that's reports, and each one of these you can run on each of the workflows quite easily. Okay, so we also use the training and testing module, I guess you'd say, of Qualtrax, and the training, we plan on expanding the training now that we've used it for a while, and we really like the way it works. We want to be able to expand that further. But right now, we definitely use it for all our yearly training that we have to show that we conform to. And one of those trainings reports that you can run is really handy is this training matrix one. If you run that report there, and I'll give you an example. These are some of all the trainings that we've actually created already in the system. But you can run a report on a specific training. Like currently, we have our 2000, our safety training that we do this for 2014. It's currently in progress. So I can click that I want to report on that, and then I can decide what group I want to run that report against, and I'll just do the all users group for now. But each supervisor can pick their own specific group and run this report, and it'll come up right away, and it'll tell you everybody that's already completed the training and who hasn't completed the training. And as you can tell, it's really simple, graphical. Green is good, red is not good. Unfortunately, I'm down in that red still. But it's just real simple for the supervisors to be able to run this report on a weekly basis and see who still needs a little push to get their mandatory training done. That's worked really well for us. We also have reports that we do for the tests. So if we have, like I explained, when a new document gets published, you can have that document have an associated test, so you can run a similar report on the testing results to see who's actually confirmed that they've read the new policy or not. That works out pretty good too. Each one of these workflows, I just wanted to touch on that notification thing. Each one of the workflows you can set up to where it emails each person to notify them that they have a specific document waiting for them or a specific task in their workflows. And I've set up these emails. You can set the emails to include any information whatsoever in the email itself. So like our quality incident review, when somebody creates that, I as quality manager automatically gets an email with the initial information in the email. I don't even have to go to Qualtrax to know one's been submitted and if it's something I need to jump on right away, or if it's something that the supervisors can handle for a while. So you can create those emails any way you want to, which is really, really good. As far as the notifications also, I wanted to, on each one of these reports that I've created, you can have a report like, let's say all active corrective actions. It can automatically, I set several of these to automatically create the report and then email all the managers the report, and the managers can open it wherever they happen to be, whether that's on their smartphone or their tablet. They can open it and review those, and it's a trigger also to remind them that these are open, and allows me to really manage that kind of notifications and reminders without actually managing anything. So it's been really, really good. We do that on several different reports. Wanted to show you a quick test. So that safety training I haven't done yet. I was holding back on it a little bit so I could show it to you guys today. This is a test, and you make these tests right directly in the administration module. And my safety manager actually created this test, so I've trained several people on how to do this within about 15-20 minutes of how to do it. It's really not that difficult to do, so you can make them as much as you want to without spending a lot of time on it. But that'll pop up in the training popped up, and then we click the training button. Once the training's completed, then you'll have a test that comes up, and I hadn't taken the test yet. So I would just open the test. The test comes up like this. You answer these questions, however the test is set up, and then you have to put in your credentials again so we can confirm that it's really you taking the test, because that's going to show up in your profile that you did the test. And then they just hit submit, and then you'll be notified that it's completed, and whether the user right there will know if they've passed it or not. And depending on how you set the test up, if it's 100%, where they have to answer all the questions 100%, or if they you have to get a 70%. I'm not sure who does that, but we don't like that forensics, right? So you can set it up to where they can have to retake the test over until they get all the answers correct. Works out pretty well. The last thing I wanted to show you real quick has been helpful, and this is only something we've done the last couple months, is because we have the 5 different laboratories. Not everybody knows everybody real well, so in the personnel tab, we've actually created it to where each one of our people are put into this with their photographs, so when they see these folks wandering around in different labs, they can kind of get an idea who they are, or if they hear their names, they can come in here and use this to find out who they are, where they work. That's pretty handy too, to figure out where they work, and then they can just search and filter a particular person, and then when you view that particular person, you can actually see a photograph, their information, their email address, and then the training record we currently have in there. But all this is customizable, so you can have whatever information that you want in there. That was pretty much the core basics that I wanted to show. once you run those reports and you export them to Excel, it really only does take a short amount of time to get all this stuff for an auditor, get ready for an auditor. It works pretty good. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and unmute the lines at the present time. And while we're doing that, we did get a couple questions in. So the first question was, how do I get my documents into the Qualtrax system? I don't know, Clint, if you want me to answer that, or if you want to answer that.
There.
Oh, there
just
we go.
muted me. That was good.
Yeah, we got unmute happy.
So there's two main ways to get documents in the system, and one of the best things that Qualtrax has is called a mass import tool, and you run that particular tool, and then it's really a drag and drop where you pick one of your folders that you want to put the documents in, and then you go to the one side, and then you pick the documents you want to put in there, and you literally just drag it over, and then you set all your criteria right up there, like who's going to get notified, who's going to be your approvers, who's going to be your reviewers. You can set it all up there, and then hit OK, and it'll actually import as many documents that you drug over. And it's really fast. It only takes a few minutes. You can have them published immediately. You can have them just wait for approval. That's the best way. All the documents that you saw on my tree, all of them were imported initially that way. It works pretty good. The other way you can do it is you can just go straight to the folder you want to put a document, and then if you right-click, you're going to get a lot of these different options here. And one of them is create a document here, and if you click that, then you would just go straight to their create the document screen, which is this right here, and this is where you put all your approvals, all your users. You can upload the file that you want to do, and let's see what else. And you can also make it a non-controlled document, so you can just make a record. You can upload a record from here. I do use this every once in a while. I'm definitely a fan of the mass import tool. When you do that, you can also do it from a template. If you notice in our one of the documents that I showed, all the footer information that Qualtrax automatically adds to revisions and stuff for are all kept in these template folders. So you can make a template that you can just use the template, and then you just paste the information directly on the template that already has all the coding and stuff built into it, and then you just upload it from there. Hope that answered it for you.
Yep, very good. We also got another question in here from Sandy Brown. What happens if you disapprove a revision to a document?
Oh, sure. In the document edit thing, when it's in approval, I'm pretty sure I have one waiting for me, as I always do. If one of these documents here is for approval, you just hit this reject button, and then that particular document will come up and it'll say reason for reject, and then it just goes back into edit mode, back to the editor, and then the editor will then fix whatever needs to be fixed and then re-release it for approval. And each one of those rejects and reapprovals are all documented in that property screen, so you'll always be able to see what happened to the document itself.
Good, very good, thanks. Also, if you want to keep submitting questions through the chat box on the GoToMeeting, that would be great. The next question is, how long did it take you to roll out the system to all of your labs?
It took us actually about 6 to 7 months after we had the system to decide how we want to set it up, because it is pretty much a blank canvas So you have to make a lot of decisions on naming conventions and folder structure and those type of things. I went around to each of the laboratories and gave maybe a 2-hour training on how to use it, how to log on to it, and that was it. And then I spent furiously a three-day weekend uploading and improving all the documents. And by the time the whole staff came in on that Tuesday, that was live, and everybody knew how to use it by then, because from just the short training, like I said, it's a browser. It worked pretty quickly for us. We didn't have any issues.
Very good, thanks. The next question is, how did you determine who would serve as your super users?
The way our system's set up is the technical leaders in each discipline are the ones that have to manage their SOPs themselves. So it was real simple to give them the super user, I guess, training, and they did get a separate training on how to edit a document and how to release it for approval and how to create a new document. The rest of the staff doesn't really have that training. They just have the user training. And then there's 2 administrators that actually administrate Qualtrax that have the full authority to do anything. Because once you have that ability, you can actually change a lot of the workflows. You have a lot of authority there. So only the one supervisor and then myself has the complete ability to do that. I think that's a good way to do it. That way it locks it down. Even our system director doesn't have the ability to be an admin on it.
Good, very good. Next question is, how do I determine who approves a document?
That's really, not sure the question there, but we can, depending on how your system is set up and what your policy states, you would say, let's say, like our system says, the quality manager has to be the final approver. That just goes into your real simple in the groups feature. When you in the administration tab, you can create a group for anything you want, and in that group, like we have the quality system administrator, quality administrators. It's just me in that group, and so we just add that group to the document or the folder. You can add permissions to the folder, then that affect every document in that folder also. That group is the final approver. The good thing about the group then is just if I decide to do something different, I'm no longer the quality administrator, we can just add the new person to that group, and we don't have to then go in and change all the documents that have that group. And so in the document tree, you can, I'm not sure if I can, I think I can show you real quick how that looks in a document itself. But like I said, in the properties here, in the document lists, it'll actually tell you what's going to happen. So this would be, you can add all users can be notified that this is going to be changed, and then you would just add simply the next person that needs to approve it. Then they can become an approver, the first approver, second or third, fourth or fifth. You can put 5, 6 people in your approval chain if that's what your policy is set that way. If you notice, there's no approval in here because the folder itself has that already built into it. So folder properties is just like document properties, and so if you go to that document lists, it will have that too, and it could push all the way down to that. If you notice on here, approval list, required approver is me. So I'd be the final approver no matter what for everything inside that folder, and you can just set it up like that.
Very good. Next question. I think we got 2 more here so far. Are your validation studies stored on this system?
We do, and we just keep that as a record. We have a specific way we do them So all our validations and performance checks for each of our disciplines are in here, and so we just keep them all in here as a record. This is one of the naming conventions you want to make sure you come up with, and we decide to always do the year first, so everything sorts by year as far as the validations go.
Very good. And then the last question, I think we kind of touched on it with the mass import, so we can just emphasize that one more time. The question is, does Qualtrax have the ability to upload batches of documents as opposed to one at a time?
Right, and that's what that mass import tool is for, and it really is super easy to do. It's easy enough that I'll use it even just for one document sometimes.
Very good, very good. I think that's all the questions that we have. So at this time, Clint, I'd like to thank you very much for your time in presenting today. We are switch over to our contact information. Scott Rankus, our sales manager, or again myself, Julianne Poff, are happy to entertain any other questions that you have after today. And we're switching here over, so we'll have that up in 1 second. Very good. So that's my contact information. Feel free, again, to reach out to us with any questions, any way that we can help you. And we look forward to the opportunity to be able to work with you and your organizations sometime very soon. So again, thank you very much for attending, and hope you have a good rest of your afternoon.